13th in the Championship. The takeover happened, as I said it would. People will be... Oh, when have we got Leeds? Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I hope you are all doing well. Please do smash a like on this very video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course hit the notification bell. Whilst you're there as well, make sure you check out these other amazing channels that are in front of your very eyes. We have Jack City, City of Leeds fans. We've got Ben, Lockie Leeds. We've got Joe, Leeds United The View. And of course, Leeds United's very own Wu-Tang Clan. No, better. So make sure you go over and subscribe to them. As I keep saying, and I'll continue saying it, the international break is tough for content creators. So even if you just go in, and to be honest, I've had quite a few comments where they've just gone, just leaving a comment for the algorithm, Joe. So keep doing that, even if you're not watching it. It massively helps, trust me. So thank you for that. So yeah, I'll do that. Today we're going to be talking start, bench, sell. Leeds United, because obviously we've only got 8 games left. I think Premier League's nailed on, but yeah, that might be a bit wild. But even still, we're going to do this with Premier League in mind, lads, all right? We're doing this with Premier League in mind, because it's fucking nailed on anyway, so we'll do that. Lockie, you did put a good point forward, which I haven't really covered. Loan. What do we do? Start, bench, sell, loan? Like,
yeah, so I think it's like guaranteed or players we think should play in the Premier League, players that we're unsure about. So either bench options that we should improve on, or loan. I think loan. Kind of
no, we can
middle
do that.
ground.
Yeah. Let's stick loan in there as well, folks. We will do that. What I have done is got the squad list. We're going to start from the back to the front. So we've got goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, and strikers. So yeah, that's what we're going to do, folks. Get involved in the chat as well. If we are undecided, can there be a tie? They can't, can they? Because there's 5. Can they? Well, no. Can there be a tie? I assume they can. Sorry, you're muted.
Anyway,
Eh?
This is a list video. You always ignore my opinion anyway. So just, you got 4.
This is not true, man. It's not true, that.
If there's 4 options, there can be a tie because there's 4 options. But let's be
there's 5 of us, isn't there?
Yeah, but if Lockie and I went for the same option and you 3 all went for different options, and or 2 and 1,
the chat can decide, I guess.
Yeah. Fuck knows.
Let's just do one.
We'll do it though.
I'll figure it out.
We will do it, and I will try put polls in the chat as we go as well, folks. Right, I'm gonna do that. So we're gonna start with goalkeepers. It could be quite contentious this, because obviously Ilian Meslier. Everyone has loads of different opinions on Meslier. It's quite a polarizing topic, to be honest, because from social media anyway, you read it as like he's rubbish, get him in the bin, have him as a backup, all this sort of options. I know where my head lies, but while I put together the poll in the chat, I'm gonna go to Jack. We'll go to you first of all, mate. Talk to me about Ilian Meslier.
Well, I love Mez, silent S. Honestly, I think he's ace. I think he gets loads of stick. We had a terrible time in Premier League, didn't we? Which he was obviously a part of. They're all. I don't want to Roy Keane it up, but they're all good shot stoppers and stuff like that. To be fair, and they talk about his spraying ball about. I can't remember the word that they all use. What
distribution.
Distribution. That's the tune. Yeah, and I don't think his distribution is that bad, and I actually think it's getting better. I do think he can ping a ball about. He's got a nice left foot. He's never flustered on ball. I know people have a bit of a go when he sort of waits, but he's been told to wait on the ball, isn't he, and drag the striker out a bit. So I'm team Mez all day.
Yeah, I think I always continuously.
And he's so young. Sorry, Joe. He's so young as well, isn't he? He's got so much. I remember I saw Nigel Martin once in a William Hill, and we were talking about Meslier, Silent S, and he were literally saying when he were his age, he were like playing like not a poor standard necessarily, but certainly nowhere near having as many appearances in the Premier League as Mez has got. So he's on to be a superstar, really, potentially. You don't know how far he can go in game. It's whether it's the step up as well for keepers is as well when they don't have anything to do. That's when it's like, like Ederson and Alisson and people like that. I mean, I actually think Alisson's got a mistake in him, to be fair, but they're called upon maybe once a game, aren't they, in a huge scenario, 0-0, 60 minutes in, and they get called upon. It's like, that's when you sort of find out if they can go to the top level. But yeah.
Yeah, you're a keep. You're a keep. And I hear you. I think, yeah, I've had so many like debates and discussions about like this distribution chat and him punching the ball, for example. It's clearly something he's been asked to do because he's not changed from that all bloody season. You know what I mean? If that was an issue for the coaching team, they'd be going, "Can you stop punching it, Mez? We're in game, 40 now, and you're still punching it." They'd have an issue.
They're all punching it though, Joe. That's why I think it's a. That's why I believe it's a coaching thing. Every keeper that's played in goal this season has punched, all of them. So
yeah. Go on then, Joe. Give us your thoughts on Mez.
I like him. I like him. He's getting better as he gets older. He's still probably 8 years away from being in his prime, minimum. I think his distribution's fine. I think it's fine. I was talking about my channel during the week, and somebody, can't remember the guy's name, so I'm sorry for forgetting your name, put a comment in where he looked at the expected saves that he was making earlier on the season, and whereas in the first, say, third of the season, he was conceding nearly a goal from every first shot that he faced went past him pretty much. But they said if you look at the numbers since, say, November on, he's saving more than he should be saving. His expected saves have actually gone up, which shows that he's improving as the season goes on. He came into the start of the season with his confidence in the toilet. He was very good for us in the Premier League in our first season there, and he was very good for us in the season that got us promoted. But I think we can forget about that when everything goes bad. The arguments with me never stand up with Mez. Yes, he's got a mistake in him, and yes, he will have more mistakes in him into the future. Next season, he will make errors, as every goalkeeper does. But the difference between a goalkeeper and any other player is when a goalkeeper makes a mistake, it's usually a goal. Where anybody else makes a mistake, you've got a couple of players to dig you out before it goes in the back of the net. He's still going to make mistakes as he gets older, but he's going to get better. Great point that Jack made about Nigel Martin. Most goalkeepers, I think, Leeds signed around that time, didn't probably start for Leeds until they were in their mid to late 20s before they start becoming regulars in the team. He's been watched up by Real Madrid and Barcelona, are keeping an eye on them, have kept an eye on them. PSG are still keeping an eye on them. They're not wasting their time with a goalkeeper who's not a good goalkeeper. He faces more shots than most keepers, or I should say he did in the Premier League, and that's where one of the arguments falls down for me. Last season, he was at fault for everything we did defensively, despite the fact that he had faced more shots than any other goalkeeper in the Premier Division all year. Whereas this season, the argument is the defense in front of him was excellent because he's faced less shots this year. And it's like, well, it doesn't work both ways. You can't make the same argument for 2 different points. So for me, I think he's a good goalkeeper. I think a strong understudy for him would help him to develop someone with experience if it's needed. But for me, he's a keep for me. I think he's been very, very good this year. He's made some very big saves. But that's based on what I've seen so far this year. I was one thing that called for him to be dropped for Robles towards the back end of the Premier League season. More so from a case of at some point you've got to take the kid out of the firing line. He was getting battered. And at some point you just take him out, put someone with experience in and give him a break for me. And I think this season he's grown and grown and grown this season. I keep using the word growth for this year, and I think he's grown tremendously over the course of the year. And for me, I would definitely be keeping him.
Love that, mate.
Starting.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I've done start bench. I've said keep, Hannah. It was start, wasn't it? What am I talking about? Let me just quickly go back. Jack, are you starting him?
I'd sell him.
So deadpan,
Yeah,
I love it.
Definitely start. Definitely start.
Good man. Your start as well, aren't you, Joe? Let me come to you, Lockie, now, mate. Talk to me about Mez.
Yeah, honestly, if you'd have asked me 4 or 5 months ago, I'd have been unsure just based on his form. We have to take in consideration the last 2 years he's had, and he must have been the lowest in terms of confidence, the lowest in the team by far. Him and maybe Pascal, that was still here. They must have been absolutely battered in the last 2 years. And that takes a while to understand who you are and what makes you good as a keeper, what made you good in the first place. And he's getting that, I think it was Joe or Jackson, I can't remember, but since I think around January, February, he's massively improved his save percentage. It was around 64%, which is one of the lowest in the Championship. It's now, I believe, around 74, 75%, which is I think he's third in the Championship behind the goalkeeper at Bristol City and obviously Hermansen, who's the top. And also ranks, I sent you this a few weeks ago, Joe, I believe he's top 20 in Europe's top 5 leagues in terms of save percentage. So the numbers are there or thereabouts. He's around or black in terms of save percentage. So he's in good company. I know you've got to guarantee the league into that, and that's the kind of argument.
So you're saying he's one of the best keepers in the world? That's all I heard there, bro. That is all I heard.
I'm saying he's performing really well, Joe. But and then his aerial duels is the best in the Championship in terms of goalkeepers for percentage of aerial duels won in the 6-yard box. So whereas that's a punch or a grab, he's claiming it, and that's huge. A lot of keepers in this league are not claiming those, and that's where you'll see headers scored. We don't get goals conceded really like that. And Mez is a part of that. He's commanding that box, whether it's with catching it or not. In modern goalkeepers, most don't catch it. They punch it into an area. So yeah, I'm definitely. I don't think it's something that is massively worrying. When we go through this list, there's positions we need to improve. I don't think that's something that is massively needed with a young keeper that is showing signs of mass improvement and getting back to what he was when he first went to the Prem. So definitely keep or start, whatever it is.
Start, yeah. Sorry. It's definitely start. I've redone the poll as well, folks, right? Luke, my man, talk to me. Start, bench, sell, loan.
Good evening. So when we're talking about goalkeepers, I mean, I've always rated Mez with a silent S and a not so silent Z because there's not a Z in his name. But I've always rated him, and I remember it was really nice to hear them statistics and data coming from Lockie there that I have no belief in, by the way, when it comes to I do watch football with me peepers, and I did have a very heated argument with somebody earlier on in the season when Mez's stats weren't so good, and that's all they had for me was numbers, and I was like, keep your numbers. I know I rate him as a goalkeeper, and that was enough for me. In terms of the options, I think he's a starter first of all, and the reason for that is I just feel that there are much higher priorities when it comes to transfers for us. I don't think he's the finished article. I think he has got a lot of mistakes in him, but we had an England number 1 whose nickname was Calamity for a number of years. So yeah, goalkeepers are known to have errors. They're naturally blamed for a lot of situations and scenarios. So yeah, for me, it's a very hard keep or start. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I hear you. So that's basically across the board, 5 starts. Which is great to see. And to be honest, in the chat, folks, 70% of you have gone start, 22% have gone bench, 8% have gone sell, and 1%'s gone loan. I mean, I don't think we're going to loan him out, but I stuck that one in there anyway. But yeah, so we've gone for a hard start on Mez. Christopher Klassen now, for me, his deal runs out not this summer but the summer after. I know me and Jared did a show just based on the contract clauses coming to an end the other day. But for me on Klassen this summer, if you can get a buyer for him, you sell him. That's where I'm at, because I just don't think he's of the level or will ever be of sufficient level. Now, of course, people will see the 2 games. I think he's got clean sheets in Wolves, clean sheet in another, and it's like, oh yeah, some were even trying to advocate that he's better than Mez, and now he can't even get on the bench. I may add, Danny van der Heuvel starts ahead of it. Well, gets on the bench ahead of him, I believe, at the minute. So yeah, we'll go back round the other way. So Luke, I'm going to come back to you, bro. Where do you stand on Klassen? Do you start, bench, or sell? And when we say sell, you can stick loan in there as well.
Yeah, I'm probably sell or loan. I mean, I've only ever seen him realistically play relatively well. Was against Peterborough, and that seemed like it was his level. He had quite a good game. He caught the ball a number of times, which we're not used to seeing as Leeds fans. But so yeah, I'm still a little bit undecided. What age is he? Is he 22, 21?
Same age as Mez, I think.
Is
they're around the same age.
Is he as old as that? All right, okay. That does change my perception ever so slightly.
Hang on, I might be right.
Yeah. I mean,
he's 23, bro. He's 23.
23, so he's not far off. Yeah, that does. I mean, if it was early 20s or sort of 20, I would probably be looking down the loan option. But he obviously isn't coming on as predicted when we did sign him. So yeah, I'm probably going to sell him. Although I've seen bits have been relatively promising, but not enough to be challenging Mez in the Premier League should when we get promoted.
Yeah, Luke. Sorry, Lockie. Any thoughts, mate?
I agree with Luke. I think it's no matter for him, I just think he needs to play a season, no matter where that is. Like Capri, I've seen Capriel in the chat. He's doing really well in Italy this year. He's finally finding good form. Remember, we sold him for next to nothing because we thought he wasn't good enough. 3 years of learning, and he is. He's doing really well in Italy this year. So you have to be careful. But one of them, just loan, see what he does for a year at another club. And then if he's not good enough, you know, you're not missing out hugely high if you've got a number one. So yeah, probably loan for me.
Yeah. Does anyone have a difference of opinion? Joe or Jack, do you think bench at all or
Loan?
If we want on about going up, I'd potentially think, well, keep him maybe around club, but it depends what he's delivering, doesn't it, really? But no, alone, really. I certainly wouldn't get rid of him because I don't think we're pulling enough money. Not that I really care about the finances of it all, but, you know, how much money we're going to get for him, I don't know. And you'd probably get a bit more worth out of him if he went out for a year. Did you say his contract ends in 2 years?
Yeah, so not this summer. Him and Firpo, it's the summer after. So they need to start having conversations now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I think the fact that that's not, I'm a bit like, I think the club are probably thinking as well, like maybe, if someone puts a bid...
just with the age thing, comparing him to Mez is a bit unfair because I think Mez is, you know, he's quite old for 24 and he's a goalkeeper. So I think in being 23, he's still a young man, really, in that role. It's not like, you know, he's trying to get in at right back or something, and you just think, what is he up to?
What do you mean?
Honestly, he's trying to get
he's
right
quite
back.
old for 20. What do you mean? Because looking at it now, they were born, same year. One in March, one in November. So, like, what do you mean?
7 month difference.
Yeah, I'm saying it. Don't look at his age as a goalkeeper. We're comparing him to Meslier with the age. They're the same age, but Meslier is far ahead of himself. If Mez were 30, then, you know, that's what I'm saying. On the Nigel
I don't get what you mean, though, bro. I don't know what you mean. Explain.
Well, I'm doing my very best.
Yeah.
What
do you mean?
Footballing age, Jack, is it like the way he plays, the amount of exposure he's had to the game.
Okay.
His footballing brain age is significantly higher than 23 because of the amount of exposure he's had to football.
Now I get it.
That's what I'm
like
saying.
what Dale's saying.
If he was a right back and he's still not bringing anything, I'd just be like, well, you know, you are starting to get towards an age where you need to be breaking into the first team.
Yeah. Right, okay. No, I get that. Right, yeah. Right, I hear you now. Like Damar says.
So you don't mean Mez goes home and gets his slippers and his dressing gown and his pipe out and that then?
I mean, he can do that if he wants, but as long as he turns up on a Saturday, it's fine.
And watches Midsummer Murders on repeat.
Yeah. Do you know whenever I hear like pipe and that now, right? Like, and I don't mean the C kind. It's like I always get reminded of that Yorkshire guy on Instagram when he goes, "Ooh, unbelief." I don't know if you've seen that, man. It's fucking brilliant. Right, so we've got sell, we've got loan, we've got sell or loan. I think it was a hard loan actually, wasn't it? Were you sell, Joe?
For Klassen, I'm loan. If the option is get me a year out on loan, send him out on loan, give me a chance.
Yeah. 85% have gone sell/loan, so I think I think we'll go with the loan. This one's quite interesting. Caldalo. Now, when Caldalo came in, I thought he's competing for the top spot. I thought, you know, even when, and I laughed about it when Joe mentioned it before. I think we ended up paying like 500k, but there was chat of him going to be about 5 million, and we were all going, oh, yeah, don't mind it. And then we ended up paying like 500,000. So at the time, I'm thinking, great, did well at Hull City. They wanted him back. Obviously, Leeds got in there ahead of Bournemouth. I'm thinking he's going to be the number one. Obviously, his contract's not due for renewal anytime soon, so he's going to be here. So, yeah, it's quite interesting. Joe, do you want to start us with this? Is it start, bench, sell?
I'm between bench and sell with Darlow because I think when you're in the Premier League, I'd like Leeds to have a really good number two. I think Darlow's is a good goalkeeper, but he's a good, very, very good championship goalkeeper. I think he's a safe pair of hands on the bench, no issue at all. But Carl Darlow, for what he cost us, he's a decent backup goalkeeper. He's been unlucky, like a couple of players this year. He's been unlucky with timing of injuries, where he's got his opportunity to get into the team and maybe get a bit of consistency that he wanted to get a couple of back-to-back games, and then breaks his finger pretty badly, and that's him out for 6 weeks. So he's been unlucky with timing. He's a decent keeper, but you need games, and I think the games that he's played have been one-off matches where, you know, you're not at your best in a one-off game. And he's not playing under-21 football either, so he's not playing anything outside of training matches. And anyone who's played the game will tell you that training matches are very, very different than real matches. Klassen is not better than any goalkeeper in the club ever at all. That's a crazy statement. But I would either bench Darlow or sell him.
So which one is it? You can't have two. You can't have two, bro.
Sell him under the goalkeeper.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna. Do you know what I bench? I think you need three. I look at the big teams. I think had he have gone to Bournemouth, he's probably going in as their third choice. So probably maybe as Chodes, Leeds United, because they I can compete with the number one spot. If he's happy to sit on the bench, which Darlow's been happy to do for a long time, he did it at Newcastle for a while. I think he was their number one in the Championship and then moved up and played a few when there was a few injuries, but then quickly went down the pecking order. I think for me, you just keep him about the place. I don't think he's going to be on mega money either. And if he's getting on with... And to be honest, I don't think many are going to buy. We paid $500,000 for him. What they're going to pay if we want to sell him? Do you know what I mean? I know, like, Jack, you're not that into funds, but what... Do you know what I mean? You're not going to make back your money, are you, if he's not played any football? So it's like, you keep him around.
And it's good money. It's good value for the money we've paid as well. And if he sort of winds down with us a bit and he ends up being third goalkeeper for the rest of his life, like Scott Carson, I don't know if he just won't leave Man City, will he? So
what a career, mate! What a career he's had.
I know it's madness, total madness. But yeah, I'd keep that. I actually know for a fact that my mate bumped it. Well, unless my mate's lying, but he bumped into him in Boston Spa in a pub, and he were like, he did think he were coming to start. I think the consensus was that Mez were off. So I think he were a bit gutted, really. But he just sort of suggesting he was waiting for his opportunity. Right, nice about it, and that he understands that if Mez was to stay, I think he was aware of that. But I think he thought he was going to get in number one, but he's not the number one. To be fair, I mean, he'd be all right. He'd be pretty mint in Championship, and he has been a decent keeper, hasn't he? So I would keep him about place. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, same. Yeah, listen, I think we'd all take Keller, mate, but I think Liverpool will do the best to keep him around, mate, because he's shown.
He's going to cost an awful lot to do so.
Yeah, definitely. Luke, have you got any thoughts on Darlow, mate?
No, not particularly. I think you're quite right in what you say. He's obviously a good egg to have around the place. He fits in all right. We've not heard any murmurs around any upset or anything. And if Jack's right with what he says, he came here to be number one, and he's not kicking up any fuss about not being number one.
Yeah.
Then he's obviously leading by example. He's kind of lad you want around the place. So yeah, I'd be quite happy to keep him for the bench.
Yeah, 100%. Any thoughts, Lockie?
No, not really. Just if you are getting rid of him and then Klassen's off as well, you've got one goalkeeper, so let's not be silly, you know what I mean? If he doesn't need to go, we don't have to. That's down to him if he wants to play. Obviously, you can have to have that conversation, but fine, isn't it?
More goalkeepers. Buy more goalkeepers. Yeah. We need more goalkeepers.
Be like Nottingham Forest. They've got about 15 of them, mate, to be honest. So maybe we could go ask them for a loan.
We've pretty much churned through goalkeepers over the years, haven't we, though? Like, we haven't really settled. I mean, between first and second choice goalkeepers, we've had a lot of keepers through the door.
I think we should have done our hardest to keep Green. To be fair, Rob Green. I think Rob Green was a safe pair of hands, weren't he? How did that end now for Rob Green? Because anyone remember?
He went to Chelsea, won a Champions League, didn't he, or a Premier League or something, and then retired.
The chat, folks, have gone 61% sell. 61% sell. I know the majority of us went for bench. So yeah, it's
a tough position to pick. I mean, outside of Queevy and Kelleher being mentioned as a option, which you're not going to get him, it's easy to say sell Meslier or sell Klassen or sell Darlow, but the response is like, who do you get to replace them that's of a better quality? Because they're not that common as you think.
This might sound such a wild take, and maybe out of the realms of possibility. But what about Aaron Ramsdale?
Well, if he became available, I think you'd bite your hand off for him. He's a very good goalkeeper.
I mean, to be honest, like Newcastle could have a look because Nick Pope's not great with his feet. Yeah. You know, maybe I don't know. Villa wouldn't like I genuinely, because they're going to put him up for sale. And if the 49ers are ready to splash the cash,
when I start there,
yeah, I mean, I'd take him every day. Jack, you've got a wry grin, mate. Do you not think it's a possibility?
Not really. If I'm honest, no.
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 Is it a wild
I mean,
one?
it's a decent shot. I don't think it's a wild take. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not unbelievable. I can sort of, I can smile about it and imagine it before I go to bed or something. But I don't know. I don't know if it's quite
Where
a drop.
Else will he go though? Where will he go though? Does anyone?
Well, a club had come looking.
Yeah, suppose.
I think it's a long drop for him. That I don't know if he wants that.
Hang on, we've got a Dalek. Carry on.
Is it me or?
No, I've just muted Joe and it's gone, so it might be Joe. I think it was. I don't know.
All I can hear are all of you
you.
sound Alex.
It's you, Joe. Hang on. Yeah, it is. It's definitely Joe. Sorry, what were you saying, Jack?
I can't remember.
Sleeping, smiling before you're sleeping.
Yeah. I can't remember.
Honestly, maybe Ramsdale is a wild one.
It's not insane, I don't think it's, but I think that's some way off that. I would, I just think it's a big drop for him. He's not going to be looking at that.
Go on then, Lockie.
Michel Di Gregorio from Monza.
From Monza. There you go. I don't have a fucking clue who that is, bro. But if you're saying it,
sounds great. Get him signed up.
Yeah.
Andrea knows him very well.
Yeah, Monzo bang. Yeah. It's just reminded me of. Do you remember Nicaragua?
Dave.
Yeah. Do you remember him though when he came in and they barely played, didn't he? Yeah. Anyway.
Just on the, when people were saying to get rid, and like I think we're you, Lockie, that said about we've got to be careful. Like if you're just getting rid of everybody and we end up with Mez and that's it. If you did them like the three, so if it was like keep, sell, bench, then if you're comparing them to each other, then that'd be the order, wouldn't it? You can't instead of just getting rid of both, because you'd get. This is what I say all the time and bore myself with it, but you'd get rid of them all if you got three better keepers, wouldn't you?
I've got 20 million each for them.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I think
Melier.
Do we think Melier starts the first Premier League game of the season? Just sweeping. I do as well. Yeah. I think and I think he's earned enough credit in the bank with Farke, where Farke says, "You're my number one. I'm happy with you." Let's be honest, he fucking went into the Premier League with Tim Krul, and he's rubbish. He is rubbish. So
I don't know. Krul's had some moments, hasn't he?
Krul, man.
I can't suggest I've followed him round, but I'm sure I've seen him pull out some worldies. I'm sure haven't he been in a few
every dog has his day. Like some people do. Like Melier pulls out worldies against Leicester, for example. That's it.
Mez is worldy, that's why. But
it's
Tim Krul is this. He goes down. He has a place in my heart for some unknown reason. He does.
Ben Bazunu is absolutely pants, by the way. Shocking goalkeeper. Shocking. Definitely not. What about James Trafford? Someone's just said Burnley will go down. No, you're not fancy him now because Burnley are doing poor, or
I don't
think he's better than Mez.
He's not.
My guy there, Steele, says Krul's a pen stopper. I've definitely seen him come on or something. I'm sure I have, and just top cornered lot, and he's just going wild, and all team are all over him. Oh, he's my guy, beast.
Right, yeah. Joe, you're all good. Right, we've got the goalkeeper, so I've got Melier start, Klassen loan, Darlow bench. Maybe we're bringing another one when we do get to the Premier League, but we'll get there when we do. Defenders now. Junior Firpo. Junior Firpo's where we're going to start, folks. Obviously, his contract, like Klassen's, will end, so conversations will need to start soon. You'd imagine the club will want. Again, I'm guessing, would want a starting left-back, so I guess the onus is on Junior whether or not he's willing to sit on the bench and maybe be the number two. But forgetting about what Junior wants, what do we want? Do we start him in the Prem? Do we bench him in the Prem? Or do we look to sell? I'm going to come to Luke, you're first, mate.
So Junior Firpo, he holds pretty much what Tim Krul does to you, Jackie. He holds a little bit of a place in my heart because everyone ripped Junior off when we had that shocking season last season, myself included at times. But he's shown that he's very much a team player, and again, they're not easy. It's not easy to buy those types of players. So I think what we'd get for him, ideally, we'd probably sell him if we could get a decent fee and get a good replacement or an improvement on, which isn't going to be too difficult at that level because he's not a brilliant defender. He's a decent attacking left back. So yeah, for me, I think dependent on, it's a difficult one. I think he's a good option to have around the place. Bench probably, but if we can command a good fee and we have a decent replacement lined up, then it would be sell. Unfortunately,
yeah.
But I'm going to say bench for the purpose of this argument.
Cool. Lockie.
It's tough because he obviously he's doing quite well now, but you've got to take the league into account. But I think as a whole, he's good going forward, and he can do that for a lot of good sides. You know, going forward, he's very good. He's effective going forward. His crosses, his movement's really good. But we've seen Junior in the Premier League, and the big issue with him in the Premier League was the physical side of it, that he couldn't get fit. That's a huge part of it. So even if you keep him, there will be the same situation really, that you have always with him. He can't stay fit for a long period of time. Now is probably the longest he's played in a line, isn't it? I think, which isn't great. So when you go back to the Premier League, will his body not be able to match up to the physicality side of it again? I think it's a risk to have Junior as your nailed down starter based on that. I think you need a fullback who's played a lot, who you think when you do medical tests won't have those injury issues, and someone who is probably more balanced than Junior. I'm like Luke said, I'm happy with him as a bench option in certain games to come on if we need more of an attacking threat. You can bring him on, if we need to win a game, for example. But I just want someone who's really balanced and maybe a bit of experience in the Premier League as well at left back for me. So yeah, it's hard between bench and sell because I do think he could be a good option if he's fit, if we need him to come on. Oh yeah.
I hear you, but I'm bench me. It's mad. I'm with Luke. I can't believe the turnaround that I've had. You know what I mean? Like I genuinely, like Ash, who's always been a Firpo supporter, constantly clips me up where I said I'm a better defender than fucking Firpo, which I still stand by that sentiment sometimes when I watch him, to be honest. But I bench him with the proviso that Leeds United went out and got a starting left back, and then I'd be happy for Firpo. And I agree with what you said, Lockie. If you're chasing a game, or if it's drawing, and you want someone to come on because you're on top, you want a left back in the final third. Firpo's great to bring off the bench, as we've seen this season. He can put that ball like against Wednesday. They're the sort of balls that will win you games in the 90th minute and that. Do you know what I mean? When your striker's waiting at the back post because the opposition's got leggy or whatever. So I think he's ideal as a bench option. And to be honest, I hope the club can convince him to stick around for a couple more years to be that bench option, which is wild to think, like me 6 months ago saying this would have been like, you fucking feeling all right, son? But it is what it is.
That'll be the tough part for me.
Yeah, him.
I think he wants to start.
Yeah.
Probably in Spain.
It's the fact that he's also at this stage of his career recently changed allegiances and gone to Dominican Republic. It shows like now he's like, I just want to play football. Do you know what I mean? So, because he did get caps at Spain youth level, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
He did. He definitely did. So, Joe, have you got any thoughts on Firpo, mate?
Same with everybody else. If you're going to get a first choice left back in who can defend better than Firpo, then you keep him and stick him on the bench. But I think there's no new contract coming. I think he knows he wants to go.
Yeah.
Peak years of his career coming up. His next contract's going to be very important to him as a player, approaching 28. So I would sell.
So, cool. Just out of interest, Joe, how much do you think we'd get for him, in your opinion?
7 to 10, maybe.
Yeah. In Spain or something like that, do you reckon? You go back to Spain.
I'd say Betis is probably waiting for him, yeah.
Yeah, fair. Jack, what are your thoughts, mate? Keep, bench, sell?
It's too much of a ledge to let go, really. It's just, honestly, the bloke's a hero now. It's all chants about him and that. Nobody can get enough of it. But I'd go bench purely on the basis that everybody said we definitely need to get a left back and probably a right back, to be fair. So they're the two places. But so to just get rid it would just leave us in the same position. And you also don't know, so the person you bring in, because we brought, as I've said before, Firpo in, and everybody were like, oh, Firpo's here. Barcelona man's here. He's going to be a boss. And then everybody opened their eyes one morning, like, I couldn't even believe what I was witnessing. He was just wandering about. I didn't even, I'm not being horrible. I remember looking at him on bench once. I looked at him and me and my brother were laughing. So I thought, I got the impression he didn't really sort of know, like he'd won a prize or something. I literally didn't know. I didn't know why. I didn't think he knew why he were there at one point. But he has been mint this year, and I've always sort of liked him. He's always made me laugh. But I know you can't progress in the Premier League just to have a laugh. But I'd stick him on bench and try and replace him. But I don't think he will not want to be on the bench. So I do think he'll want to go. So it's really, we're going to be looking for a couple of players that can. I mean, if Dallas, we'll probably get to Dallas, will we? But if Dallas is ever going to be back, I don't know if that's, you probably talk about it later, Joe. But
yeah,
he can do it at left back. I'm not necessarily saying to start him, but if Dallas is back at full fitness, that could be a backup for the new left back, couldn't it? So potentially sell, but I would like to bench Firpo, and I sort of think he's earned that. In fairness,
100%.
I'd be careful with this about do not sell him until we've bought a left back.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you completely, my man. 50% of the viewers have gone sell, so that's his biggest margin so far. I think 33% have gone bench, and 17% have said keep.
What a comeback for him, though.
Yeah,
like
great.
Seriously, that's an impressive comeback. Like from last year, we were like, no, never, ever in a Leeds shirt. And then I look at him now, and you're like, if we played three centre backs, I'd start him every week, left wing back. I think he'd be a cracking left wing back.
Yeah. Right, Ethan Ampadu. Now, I want you to put your Premier League hats on here. We've got him in here as a defender. I'd probably be starting him in the 6. So let's just think about him as a 6, as a DM. Start, bench, or sell. We're in the Premier League. Jack, does he start for you in the Premier League?
Yeah. That 100%,
yeah, just straight, yeah. Look, he played the other night against Finland, and I thought he was class, by the way. And I know Finland aren't the greatest nation, but they were in the semi-final of the European qualification to get there. So, and they've got arguably the best midfielder in the world in Glenn Kamara playing for him. So, they're not that bad of a side, and Ethan Ampadu bossed it, to be fair. And go on.
It fills us up in centre back as well. He's proven that he's also ace in there. So if there's any sort of problems as the season goes, he can just sit back in. So I mean, obviously, I know everybody's probably going to want to say start, but I just think he is versatile with it as well. He's the main player for me at the moment.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because obviously I speak to other content creators, and big shout out to Potsy, by the way, who's an Arsenal content creator, and we were chatting about it. And he said, oh, you probably need upgrades on your squad. And I said, oh, no, I can't wait to see Rodon and Ampadu. And he was like, yeah, but Championship's their level. And I'm like, no, it's not. And listen, there is, when you're a Premier League fan, as much as I said before, I'll watch the Championship, I never fecking did. And that's why I'm not, like, this is nothing on his knowledge, he just doesn't watch. For me, I'm excited for Ampadu to get to the Prem and show the rest of the league what he can do. And I would say that there'll be a few Chelsea fans that look at it and go, why did we only take 7 million for this kid? I think he'll get loads of plaudits next season.
We all knew Ben White were going to go and do it, didn't we? Because I'm the same. I don't watch Championship, but I knew. Yeah. I was so sure that Ben White would go to like a proper decent level. You could just tell with how he dealt with himself on ball. It takes a certain type of player, that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree. Does anyone not agree that he should start in the Prem? No? We're all starts, aren't we, I think?
Well, for me, it's the easiest one to start
easy
out of every player, to be honest, mate.
Fair. Yeah, that's a great shout.
He's so consistent, though he gets forgotten about with stuff. Like, since the very first game of the season, we've been saying Ethan Ampadu was brilliant, but this guy was really good today, and he deserves man of the match because Ampadu will be great next week. And then you've got a whole season. You go, how many man of the match awards has he picked up versus how many should he have picked up because he's been so good all year. And I think you'll see in the Premier League, there'll be times where Leeds will need to drop their number 6 in between the two centre-backs and defend. And I think because Ethan Ampadu can do both of those jobs comfortably, I think he suits that down to the ground. It's not like when we had Calvin there who was just doing a job. Ampadu can come and play as a centre-back or play as a centre-mid, so dropping in there is second nature to him. Yeah, for me, he's an easy start.
Yeah. No, great stuff. I agree. Like Lockie said, probably the easiest one. This one now is Charlie Cresswell. So you want start, bench, or sell. I think before the season started, I was convinced this lad was going to have an awesome season. I thought he was going to get goals from set pieces. I thought he'd be a rock at the back. And for whatever reason, put it down to attitude, his actual ability, Farker not rating him, he's just not had a look in. At all. I'd love to know. Does anyone know just off the top of their head how many? I don't think he's played a full 90 yet, has he, in the league? If you probably not.
Cardiff when Cooper got injured.
Right.
Yeah,
well, 60 minutes or something played in the very season.
It's not been great for him. I will stick a poll in the chat. No poll for Ethan. Sorry, folks, I forgot, but it was an easy chat. You'd have all gone start anyway, so it's all good. I will put a poll in for Cresswell though. Luke, I'm going to come to you, mate. Start, bench, or sell?
Again, a tough one, isn't it? Because he's clearly, he's come through the academy and that. For me, I haven't seen enough of him, and there's a reason we haven't seen enough of him, and that's because Joe Rodon's been so good this season and been ever present, apart from the game when he got banned. So yeah, I mean, Daniel Farker and him have settled the differences, which is a great starting point for me and a good foundation, I think, which leads me to think either do I think it'd be good enough in the Premier League? I went and watched him play against West Ham, and he made Antonio look absolute. And this is when Antonio was playing well. He made Antonio look amateurish. So I believe there is a good enough player in there, which would lead me to lean towards bench. However, he needs minutes under his belt. He can't be at his age. He cannot be just sat on a bench all of his career, and otherwise nobody's ever going to know how good he is. So it would either be a loan or bench for me. I'm going to say for the purpose of this loan, because I think he needs minutes, and I think we can get an improvement on him with somebody with some Premier League experience to be a backup should we sign Joe Rodon.
Yeah. We will put sell loan, folks. Sell loan. Lockie, have you got any thoughts on Cresswell, mate?
Yeah, I agree with what Luke said. I think we're going to buy. Say we get Rodon. I also think we're going to get another centre back to provide competition to Rodon and Strout. I really do. A good one as well. I just don't think Cresswell will be high in that pecking order. Given he's not this season, if we buy more next year, it'll be even tougher for him. I think a loan, but a good loan, even maybe a top tier loan somewhere in Europe will be good for him. I genuinely think that. I think there'll be a lot of suitors. He plays, for the England under 21s. He's still highly rated, so his stock will be quite high. There'll be a lot of European teams who will want to get him on loan. We saw it Rodon. He went out on loan. A lot of centre backs, go out on loan to European clubs to come back better players because they learn, understand different sides of playing centre back. So for me, I just wouldn't sell him. Like you said, he's still young and there's still a player in there. And I think it's whether the club will or not, right? But for me, a good loan for him, a top tier team somewhere in Europe, I think it'd be class.
Sorry, DFG. It's hard sometimes, doing all this and making sure things and that, mate. Shut the fuck up. Sorry. I will put loan next time. I'm sorry, okay? I realise I'm trying to do this on the fly, DFG, all right? My apologies. But you know where the loan sell is. Just bang it in there for me. For just this one, bro, okay? Joe, any thoughts on Cresswell?
Don't sell him. Not yet. Don't be silly and jump the shark on it. Like, just hold. He's 21 years of age, highly thought of in England's international setup. Had a very, very good second half of the season, the championship last year at Millwall. He signed a 5-year deal and he's 21. There's no need to sell him this year. But I would 100% be loaning him out for an entire season, let him go and play for the year. Yeah. There are teams, I did a story this morning that I dug up. Apparently, according to the Mirror, AC Milan were one of the few clubs that made a move for him in January. So clubs are looking at him and clubs have rated what they've seen of him, whether that be on international duty with England or, which has been very good when he has played for England, to be fair to him. They have pointed out, he's been very, very good. So, I wouldn't be in a rush to sell this kid. You've got 5 years. You're not losing any money not selling him in the first year. If you have to sell him, see how he gets on next season, then make a decision. If you sell him, then he's 22 and you're selling him. He'll have a full year of football under his belt. Maybe you'll get a decent fee from him as well. But I just wouldn't be in a rush to sell a centre-back who's 21 years of age. And the reason for that is Liam Kitching is the argument against.
Yeah, shout.
We let him go for nearly nothing, practically nothing. And he went down to non-league football. He has been one of Coventry City's standout defenders this season by a mile. He's been fantastic in the Championship this year. And we let him go for nothing because wasn't going to make the grade, cut him. This, and I you know my feeling is, I hate that statement, put him in the bin. I hate it because it's such a definitive statement. You're writing
That's
somebody
a
off.
staple of my vocabulary on YouTube.
I know it is. Yeah, that's why I don't. That's why one of the main reasons why I don't like you, Joe. You know that. Yeah. There's no rush with these kids. Let them go out and get loans, and especially because Cresswell will get loans. Like the clubs will come in for him. Millwall tried to buy him in January. The clubs will come in for him, and if they're willing to buy him, they'll be willing to loan him. Look, we've taken Joe Rodon on a loan at 26 years of age, and we're all clamoring to sign him on a permanent deal going into the Premier League. Cresswell's got 5 years before he gets to that point. So don't put him in the bin. Put him on the shelf. Send him out on loan for a little bit. Have a look at it. See how we feel about it in 12 months' time. And then make a decision.
Same thing.
Exactly the same. Exactly the same. You can just jump a little too early. I mean,
Niall Huggins Sunderland as well. Another one.
Yeah. So and they've got that's going to happen this year with the under-21 lads that they'll leave. I mean, Sean McGurk is the one I keep pointing out. I just think he's going to come back. I really do. And Lewis Bate as well. I think two of them are going to come back as
bits too.
Yeah. Completely agree. So just if you can get them on a contract and send them out on loan, what are you losing? They'll cover the wages. Get him out on loan, get him game time, have a look at him. And I get that it's easier when you're in the Premier League. It's easier to do that because you'll bring in players. Therefore, you've got more surplus. You're a Premier League club. Loan players down the divisions. Loan players down the divisions is easier to do. When you're in the Championship, you've he's a Championship level player, but you're trying to win every game, and you don't know if you can trust him to play every game or not. So you don't really play him, and then he sits in this kind of limbo where he's stuck on the bench and not really playing because what's ahead of him is slightly better or might not be, but he can't get in the team because you have to win every game. So I feel for him, he's stuck in this weird position. But for me, you keep him. He's got 4 years. But this time next year, he'll have 4 years left on his deal, and he'll be 22. Plenty of time to sell if you need to sell him there. But hang on to another year, send him out.
That's like Jared Braithwaite is also, I was just going to say, from Everton, Is it Jared Braithwaite?
Yeah, Jared Branthwaite. Yeah.
Branthwaite, that's the one. Went on loan to PSV. Yeah, went on to PSV last season, smashed it, came back with higher stock. Look at him this year. He's probably going to be in Champions League next year.
I mean, Man United looking at him, He's 35 to 40 million for him, yeah. So that's,
what Joe says, right. Be patient with these young centre-backs. They take time.
Yeah, I think I'd go loan as well, because even if Farke, and we don't know how long Farke will be here, but even if Farke doesn't see him in his plans, the club have to say, well, we loan him, he has a boss season, maybe he's involved in a promotion race next season, and he gets promoted, and a new Premier, they go up and they go, right, we'll take him on a permanent. You're going to get more money then than you will do, then. So, I think, look, 60% have gone for loan. DFG, there you go. I stuck it in for you, mate. 4% said start, 29% said bench, and 7% said sell. So I think it's a big loan. I am conscious of time, folks. It has run on longer than longer than expected. But if you need to drop out,
do a couple of rapid fires.
A couple of rapid fires. Well, see, hang on a minute. DFG, right? You said it weren't part of the poll. I put you a new poll out, bro. So you're complaining about the poll. I put you a new poll out with loan in, and then you're saying it wasn't part of the poll. You missed it. So I did a new one for you. So come on, broski. Come on now. Get with it, pal. Right.
Joe, do you mind if I just quickly say something about Cresswell?
Yes, go. Sorry. Go.
Just because I think it's a bit of a tricky one, but it's just on what Luke said with him, Farke sort of reintegrating him. Because I actually think, because Farke has been so ruthless in a sense with some players, I think because I'm sure somebody said that he's not sure whether he's in Farke's plans, but I'm not sure about that, to be fair. Because I think he'd have just ruled him. He'd never got anywhere near bench again. They looked like they had a bit of an embrace. I can't say that word. They embraced the end of a game, and they seemed like best pals. So I think he knows as a player in there, because I sometimes worry when they're about that age, and I think they've maybe been blown up when they were 14 or whatever, an absolute boss, and then it can wind down pretty quick. But yeah, I think Farke likes him. I just think I'd loan him out, but
yeah.
I think he could potentially play in a Farke side, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I love that. Daz, where the fuck's this just come from, bro? Like, I don't. What world are you on? When 50 minutes into this video, you brought up that. Like, I don't understand it, bro.
Dad was talking about the shirt in the previous stream, Joe. We did the other day.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that shirt,
it's fucking Back to the Future, that. Which
To
I
be
didn't
fair-
actually know. It was £125. That is a fucking disgrace, by the way, an absolute abomination. And there'll be parents. Don't have to be single parents. I'm not speaking from my own experience there, but there will be parents that will be breaking their back to get their sons and daughters this kit in this current climate. It's an absolute joke. So Nike need to get in the bin. I'm not asked about no cross on the collar. I couldn't give two shits. That's just where I'm at. You can do what you want with it.
China, it's got a pirate flag on the back instead.
There you go. But 125 quid for any shirt is a joke. It's a joke. Yeah. So
The Irish one's mad as well, because Ireland one's made by Castor, which means it's made out of 100% non-recycled plastic, right? So it's just going to sweat you and stick to you. That's the first thing. They've actually produced a half decent looking Ireland shirt for a change. I quite liked it. There's a Celtic pattern in it, which is nice. But then we went out yesterday looking at it to get a proper look at it. It was €95. I was like, get real. Like, no one's paying that for a Castor top or any jersey. €95 is mental money. And for an England shirt to be bought 125, what's €95 in pounds? About £79. So that's crazy money.
It's mental. It's mental.
Who are they aiming the shirts at?
I know. It's insane, mate. It's they're aiming it all the Tories, I'd imagine, because they can afford it, but then again, they love the footy that much, that lot, don't they? Anyway, sorry, I'll not get into politics because I'll start to lose viewers. Right, okay, Liam Cooper. We'll do some quick fire ones now, because I am conscious of time, lads. If you do need to dip off, just drop a little in the private chat and go, because I know it's Monday and you'll have stuff to do. Right, Liam Cooper, we'll go Jack first. We're going to go around start, bench, or sell.
Sell, because I love him and I think he's got something else to give, genuinely. And I just think he'll just sit.
Great.
And I think he's got plenty to give a club. I love Cooper. Yeah. I think he's been awesome for us. But it's time, isn't it, without being...
Yep. 100%. I agree with you, mate, and I love him as well, just as much. And I agree with you. It's time for him to go play football. Go to Middlesbrough with Ailing or something and play. Yeah. Lockie?
Yeah, agree with Jack. Exactly the same. What a legend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Luke? Liam?
Coach. I'd offer him a coaching role, but that's not to me. So yes, if we can. If
Why
not,
are you changing the format, man? Do you know what coach?
The FG's going to go mad here, isn't he? He's going to have me. I think he's got enough to, and I think because he's so Leeds United, I think it would be a shame for him just to let him go. But I think he still probably is good enough to play Championship football next year if we do get promoted. But he's simply not going to be good enough for the bench in the Prem. So it would have to be sell. But ideally, I think he's got a lot to offer the club, and I think we will probably offer him that type of role. Hopefully.
Yeah, fair. Joe.
Out of contract at the end of the season, so yeah, he'll move on. But I'm very grateful for everything he's done for Leeds United. He's been a terrific captain.
Yeah, for sure. Right, next one we're going to rattle through as well. We're going to go Stuart Dallas. Joe, I'll come to you. Start, bench, sell.
I think he will be out of contract, and I don't think they'll offer him a new one. I think he'll go. Yeah. Unfortunately, he'll go.
You're nodding your head, Jack. Do you agree?
I think he'll go. Yeah, I'd love it if he didn't, because but I just don't know if it's such a long time out. I really fear for him in general. Actually, to be fair, he's not young either to come back. Yeah. It's been horrendous, hasn't it, for him? So
100%.
Yeah.
Do you know what I blame for that? I blame Jesse for sending him out like Trojan horses, telling him to just foul City players, and he went to foul fucking Grealish that much that he ended up snapping his own fibia.
It was so bad that you could tell it. You knew straight away with that, didn't you? Because he's not like that, is he? And it were bad, wasn't it? That
it was. Lockie.
I'd say bench right now. I don't know what state he's going to come back in, and I don't think the club do. And I think they're waiting to see before. If it goes too long and the injury's not doing what they thought, they probably will cut that short. Yeah.
With his deal ending in June, sorry, yeah,
this
1st of June, yeah, this June,
Okay.
same as Cooper. Do you think they extend it?
As of now, probably not. Again, is he even team training yet?
No.
Yeah,
No,
to be honest, I agree with Lockie. But Joe made me think that he'll go because I didn't realise it ended in June, to be fair. So I would like to see him for another year, but
yeah.
are they going to give him could they do a year? They didn't done another year on his contract, to be fair. But
It'd be the right thing to do, but whether they do it or not, I think the fact that they've gone to multiple different consultants at this stage means they're not getting the answer they're hoping for here. And I think I said this joke a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week. If you go back 10 years ago and he breaks his femur, your career is over. You're done. That's it. End of story. The fact that medicine and sports therapy has moved on to a level where they're even in a discussion about getting him back, you have no idea the amount of damage a broken femur does, not just to the bone, but to the ligaments, the tendons, the muscle tissue. There's veins and arteries that run down through that bone as well. It's a serious injury. And I mean, I would kill to see him back in the Leeds United shirt. I'd love to see it, but I think this injury is going to be a really, really bad one. I don't think you see him back in the next 12 months, and therefore I don't think Leeds would give him a contract. It's different with Berardi's situation because it was an ACL. You knew 9 months. You give him a 12-month deal to get a couple of games in the end of the season. You do the right thing. He heads off. With this one, I don't think there's a guarantee he even gets back in 12 months.
100%. Yeah, I think. I assume as we get towards the end of the season that the journals will start to ask in the presser and stuff because it's like, come on, you need to make a decision. We did the contract stuff, didn't we, Jer, a couple of days ago, and we both said we would give him like a
right thing to do,
like a charity year. I think we owe him that to sit because he'll be on next year off, and we'll say we'll give you one more year, and if you get well, and then we can assess it then. And I hope the club do that. Because I know the previous regime, they did do it for Berardi, if you remember, because he got injured in his last game and they gave him some time. So I just don't know if this... Maybe this regime are not sentimental and just go, nah, you're costing us money. I also think, Joe,
Berra missed 9 months all up. Dallas has already missed 2 years before you even take into consideration an extension of a contract. Like, he's already missed that. Berra did his ACL in the last game or second last game of the season, and then was out of contract like 2 weeks later. So they gave him another year to try and help him get another contract. Yeah. The fact that Stewie's been out injured for 2 years, isn't back in team training, you're approaching the end of another season without him. Yeah. I think it's very difficult from a business perspective to go, if you are giving him another year, what do you really give him another year for? Like, are we going to be here in the same situation in 12 months' time where we're talking about, would we give him another year? He's closer.
Yeah, 100%.
But this is just from parking the sentimentality perspective. I would see him leave at the end of the season. But if you're to bring the heart back into the equation, I'd love to see him play for Leeds for another 3 years. I'd love to play. I think my favourite Leeds players in the last 10 years.
Yeah. No, you agree. Luke, any thoughts on Dallas?
Another one I'd give the coaching badges to.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Right, let's do Jamie Shackleton. Start, bench, sell. Luke, I'll come to you.
Really tough one for me, this, because he gives his all, and he was very much he played a massive part under Marcelo while he was here in the promotion season, and people seem to forget that very quickly, how big a part he did play in that promotion season, and in various positions as well. He's almost a B-Tech Stuart Dallas, just not quite as good. I bet he can do everything that Stuart Dallas does, just not as well. He runs around. He's very rarely beaten as a defender, and he's very tidy in possession. But if we've been promoted, we've got to let go of a bit of sentiment. He's not, I don't think, good enough for the Premier League, so it'd be a sell for me.
Yeah, I agree, sell as well. He needs to go. For me, Jamie needs to go and do it. The thing is, Daniel Farker said in a presser, we'll look after Jamie. This is what he said just a few weeks back, we'll look after him. What that means, I don't know. But for me, it's like, Jamie needs to go and play football because he went to Millwall, barely played. I know he loves Leeds United and his family love Leeds United and they're ingrained in it, man. And I get that. But for Jamie, go play footballer. He's a good footballer. He's a good footballer. So go play. But yeah, I would sell. Lockie, do you have any thoughts?
I'm just looking at our squad now over here and all the players we are going to lose in the summer. There's not a lot of depth at all. Right. But if I'm saying bench, what I mean by that is literally fourth choice. A real emergency option. Because every Prem club will have that one player that'll play 1 or 2 games a season, right? And they'll do the job for them 1 or 2 games. Real emergency option. So you don't have to move players around and all that. we don't have any of them really. Apart from Ampadu, who can maybe drop into centre back. There's really nothing there. It's really weak in that point. Maybe Sam Byram too. So for that sense, unless you obviously buy 1 or 2 squad options, but I don't think that's really going to be our focus. I think we're trying to improve on what we've already got, not buy squad options, and then the current players will become squad options. So I'd probably say bench for that, just because I think the first year in the Prem, we need that depth if it's really needed. Again, what the guy said though, does Jamie want to do that? Because realistically, he might not even play a single game, but it's there in case we have a crisis and you need him to. That's important for me.
Imagine him starting right wing in Prem, by the way.
I don't want a centre back going into right back. Then we need a CDM going into, and then we need to. Yeah, I don't want any of that. Just keep him there until we have that depth that's built up over 2-3 years in the Premier League for me. But I get why people saying sell as well. I get it.
Yeah, 100%. Someone's just asked there, Ryan, when is he out of contract? I swear it could be this year, bro. I think it is. Let me just have a look. He's out. So you've basically got, it's like the ending of a dynasty. You've got Dallas, Byram, Cooper, and Shackleton all out of contract this summer. So the only thing that makes me think he'll get a deal is because Farke said in a presser, we will look after Jamie. What that means, I don't know. It almost says to me, he'll get a couple of years because, I mean, according to Copology, he's on about 1,500 a week. So like,
Jesus, he deserves better than that.
Yeah, that's according to that. I mean, Cooper 25,
1,500 or 15 grand?
No, 1,500. That's what it shows here. I'll show you now. I mean, it's got the verified tick as well. You can tell I've been looking at Schneeks.
There's no way getting 1,500.
That's just the price of Air Max.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not being funny, Joe.
Mine's loads of red tube across there usually.
To be fair, I've just bought my daughter the Air Force Ones with the on the top left. Yeah, they've got a red tick. That's what she wanted. That's why they're there. But I was looking at the TNs. You know what I mean? Try to get down, stay you. But yeah. Anyway, moving on. Go on, Joe. What were you saying?
If Jamie Shackleton is earning that, then I'm earning more a year than Jamie Shackleton is earning. There's no way I'm earning more.
Do you think it's wrong? Yeah.
I think it's 100%. I don't think there's no way a modern day footballer is earning 78 grand a year. You're
earning more than 78k.
Hang on a minute, Joe. That's the real elephant in the room.
I have a global job with a big company. Yeah.
Back. No, 78k, bro. You need to lend us some money, man.
You need to
There's no way. There's no way he's earning that little. That's nothing. That's peanut. I mean, there's academy players on more money than that. Matteo Joseph's on more money.
Yeah, he's just got a new deal though, Joseph.
Yeah, there's no way Shaq is on that level. Maybe 15 grand a week. I'd be like, that's a bit right.
Yeah,
but not 15.
Maybe that's the typo. Because he did sign it in 2020 as well. So
yeah, which I mean, that would have been the year we went up, wasn't it? Yeah, he went up. Yeah, it was the year we went up. Yeah. So yeah, there's no way he's on 1,500 quid. That's his Premier League wage, 1,500 quid.
Oh, Jamie's just happy to be there.
A week though. That's a lot. Of week.
Yeah.
It's a lot a week. Yeah, no, it is a lot a week, but comparative to other footballers, I mean, Chris Somerville's driving.
Comparative to
you,
you're
not in Ireland.
Comparative to you.
I just want to say, like, look at the cars that Rutter's driving a purple Lambo, Cree's driving a green Lambo, and what's he driving in? A Ford Mondeo into the car park because that's all he can afford on 1,500 quid a week. Like, there's no way he's earning.
Borrows it off his ma to get into training, doesn't it?
He's got it on PPP finance. He pays 60% up front and then the rest over 5 years. There's no way that's going on.
But he's got a Nova.
With sound system in back.
Yeah, and I bet his mates won't stop texting him either. Just like, you couldn't lend us a bit, and that. Are you like, nobody's listening to me? I don't earn any.
Yeah, exactly. You're on bench in Premier League. What do you mean? He's like, just
he's walking in. He's strolling into the dressing room once a week talking about the financial crisis and how much the fuel's gone up by, and the rest of the lads are like, what? What's going on?
Yeah, he's going, we need to get these Tories out, lads. And he's like, what are you on about?
He's in tears over a parking ticket outside Ellen Road.
Yeah, you can't afford the parking ticket, yeah.
Oh, God. I mean, what if it's not wrong, though?
Give him a new deal, then.
Yeah.
God, I feel bad for him.
Chatting. Mental.
Give him a bit more. Come on. You know what I mean?
You're going to feel that, lads.
Maybe, right? Maybe that's why Farke's looked at it and gone, we'll take care of Jamie. We owe him that. He's just had a kid.
You know what I mean? Maybe he means we'll take care of Jamie. Means I'm putting him up in my house for the next couple of years until he gets himself on his feet again. You know,
You can borrow my car.
he can buy the car once a week. Yeah,
Give him a lift.
Oh, God.
poor Jamie. Jesus.
Yeah, getting back from training going, love, have you had that eating on again? Get it turned on. Oh, God.
Coping
Right,
with
what
the
were
first
we
year.
on, Shaq? We were all sell, weren't we? We were all sell.
Yeah,
Oh, Ben.
yeah. I don't want to. But yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, day rider in
Find
to
benefits
and
from
from Fourth Patch. Staying with those that are out of contract, let's go Sam Byram.
Keep.
Jack, I'm going to come to you. Start, bench, sell.
Joe just said keep then, and I thought he's keep an option, and then I was well up for keep.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Bench
I
is
would
keep,
keep.
though, innit? Bench is keep,
Bench
in a
keep, yeah,
sense.
bench
Starts keep.
Yeah. Can I say keep then?
Yeah.
I'd be looking to get Byram on bench really, but I think Byram could potentially be a starter, just to depending on who we actually sign. I really rate Byram, and I think he's been a brilliant buy/acquisition. So I'm all in with Byram. I like him, and I think even when he gets injured, I think he comes back flying. It's like he's that used to being injured. He's got no like when you think, oh, I need to give him a few games or whatever. He's just like 6 weeks out, first week back, he's like, bang, we're off, and then granted he's dead again the week after, but he comes back, he plays 90 minutes, full on. Yeah. So I'm keep, not keep, I'm bench.
Bench. Yeah, sorry, I should have really discussed the wording of this show before we started, shouldn't I? I'm bench with you. Luke, have you got any thoughts on Byram?
No, bench absolutely deserves another year. Experience and everything, and he's shown he's still a capable player. So yeah, bench for me.
Bench, yeah. Lockie?
Bench, yeah, makes sense. No, we can't be signing 30 players. We're losing a lot of players in this thing.
Yeah,
so
well, yeah, there is.
We're really careful of who we let go. Yeah, another year, bench, definitely.
Yeah. Joe's nodding as well. Joe,
Don't forget there's a big overhaul plan for the summer, so there will be players coming in. They do plan on bringing players in.
Just out of interest, right? Just looking at it now, so we've got, as it stands, based on what we've gone through so far, a keeper starting and Ethan Ampadu starting. Everyone else is bench or sell.
Thanks.
So we've got 2 players there. That's where we think the squad's at for ready for the Premier League. Right, let's talk about one that could potentially start, but might be a bench option for someone. I will do a poll on this. Pascal Strauch. Joe, I'm going to come to you first, mate. Do you start him? Do you bench him, or do you sell him?
I bench him, but definitely keep him about. I think he's a good third option. I think he'll be very good this season in what he's done, but I think Leeds need to go out and get another proper Premier League level centre back, proven quality in the Premier League or of an equivalent league. But I would definitely be keeping him about the place. I think there's a very good centre back in him, and I think there will be in the next couple of years. He's really going to come into his own. I think he's a smashing player, but he's very young for centre back still. He's got plenty of time in the bank.
Does anyone disagree? Because I'm start personally.
I'm with you.
You go on, Luke. Go on then.
No, I'm with you absolutely. I think dependent on the signings we make, and I think Joe's absolutely spot on. I think we do need to be sort of aspiring to a higher level and potentially somebody of with the experience to coincide with that. But if we're realistic about it, who do we sign? Who's going to be? I mean, this is all the potential that we signed Joe Rodon. By the way, I'm assuming that we've signed Joe Rodon at this stage.
Same.
But yeah, I mean, we look at the options we've currently got. I mean, if we're playing Ampadu as a midfielder, then is centre back a priority? Is my question that I'm asking myself. And I don't think if we went up centre back, I don't think we're going to get a better centre back based on the amount of funds we might have available. So for that reason, it's probably why I'm going to select him to start. Plus, we've seen how good he can be when he's playing and playing consistently. You look at some of the centre backs in the Premier League, and he's on par with, if not as good as, and better than a fair old whack of them. So yeah, for me, I think he'd earn a start for me. I think we'd be sending the wrong message if we brought somebody in immediately to replace him.
Yeah, I think it might be a case of getting a guy in who's had a really good season and having 3 solid centre backs fighting for 2 places. I think that'll be the case. So that might be But obviously, say we're bringing Rodon, Strauch, and then we bring one from the continent who was, or maybe even a top championship, 1 or 2 in there that have done really well, and really fight out for them 2 places. I think that's key for us.
What about Howard Bellis, somebody like that?
See, I think they might
like
go.
Even,
what was that guy we were looking at in January who played for Hammarby over in I forget where is it, Sweden? I forgot his name.
Ajer, yeah.
Yeah. And he can play anywhere. Like if you look at his heat map, he played on the right, he played on the left. So he's an ideal like pickup in terms of someone who can play on either side. Do you know?
I think we'll bring in a highly rated one, or one that's of a decent value. Personally.
Because as I was about to say it, I remember when I said it, bro.
Good players can come from average teams as well. Don't forget that. There's plenty of really good players have started off as average teams.
Yeah, definitely. Jack, are you start, bench, or sell?
I'm more interested to know. Does your chair bounce? Like if you go up and down?
Me?
Because when you laugh, you go.
It's not his chair, it's what he's sat on.
That's why he's moving a lot as well, getting work.
I can't help it. Do you know what though, right? I pre-recorded a video the other day and I started and I went, and I watched it back and I went, what the fuck are you doing, man? And I'm going,
no wonder. So when you had that camera on that used to follow you around, yours was always moving, wasn't it? It was like trying to focus, trying to follow you around.
Oh man, fucking hell. Go on, Jack.
Oh, just getting in.
You've gone, haven't you?
I just on the basis of what Lockie said that nobody's going to be on pitch unless we actually pick someone to start. So I'm going to go with start. But for me, that's more on Faki because I think I can't help but not want to get away from Ampadu and Rodon if we don't sign anyone. I would stick with that. I can't help it. I just think it's them two as a pair as opposed to just like the.
Here's a question for you then. Had Strauch ever got injured, never got injured, sorry, do you think we'd have gone on this run of form that we have?
Yeah. It was excellent the first half of the season.
Jack's not answering. Hang on, Jack.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Actually, I still think we would.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's hard to say when that is some run we've gone on here. That if it had not been as mentally good the run, I'd have definitely said yeah. But this is some run that we're on.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's insane.
And you can't say that the players that have delivered this run are not the only players that could deliver the run. Is all my points. That's not a knock on Strauch or Struick, however you say his name, whatever. It's more just that
same as Fake.
And there's 3 different pronunciations for Fake for me, so it's whatever what comes up must come out.
Right, okay. So we've got a few different ones actually. I think I was start, Luke was start. Lockie, were you start? Or were you bench?
Bench.
You bench. So what? Right, okay. And it might be bench then, and the poll's 52% bench as well. So
that's a really hard one, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll go with bench then, and that I'm doing that as well. So Joe knows I do go with his options as well.
Never happened.
Connor Roberts, lads, quick fire on this if we can. I say, I don't. No.
I think he's a keeper.
Yeah, I think because he'd be coming in as a number 2. He'd be coming in as a number 2. Yeah,
I think he goes back. Well, look where Burnley are in the league. They're going to go back into the championship. They're going to want him back next year. They're going to have to cut
him
their
as
clock.
well. I love him, but he can't start. So what we doing?
See, I think he could start in a Farka team, but I haven't seen enough to know that it would work. But I think what I've seen him off the bench at the moment, I really, really like. But I think the guy gets Leeds. I think he gets what is needed from a Leeds fan perspective from the players. Where he gets about, he gets the tackles, he gives it loads. Decent player, but I don't think Burnley will let him go. There's no option to buy there. I think Burnley will want him back next year.
Yeah,
I hope I'm wrong. I hope he ends up with us, but I think he's a bench or he goes back.
Anyone Anyone? Any thoughts?
I'd love him to stay as a bench player. Yeah.
Bench.
Well, again, whether he wants to or Burnley will let him, that's probably not right. But
I think he'll definitely want to. With everything he's saying at the minute, you're like, yeah, this guy wants to start. But
when does his contract run out?
Burnley,
I'll tell you now, mate. I'll tell you, he won't definitely.
Because I don't think he'd cost a lot, and I think it'd be a good buy, knowing how well he gets on with the squad. And I keep going about this squad harmony, but it's so important. Obviously, as we've seen from last year,
he's actually
the
only got 1 year, bro.
For the disjointedness, so he's got a year, so we get him relatively cheap.
No, that'll be us.
he'll have a year at the end of the season, yeah.
Yeah,
A year after the end of the year. Yeah.
Okay. So that's up to them then, isn't it? Really, if whether they want to try and get back up immediately and keep him and try and offer him a sweetener to stay or whatever. I think we get him relatively cheap.
So I get right. So let's say signs. Are we all bench?
Yes.
Yeah. If you signed, yeah.
Jack, what?
I'm not. I don't get the. I don't get why everybody loves Roberts so much. To be honest, I don't know where it's come from. I don't mind him. He's all right. I think he'd lick himself if he could, but I don't know. He's all right.
Would you lick yourself, Jack? If you could, would you? If you could lick yourself, would you have a go?
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Right.
What do you mean you can't lick yourselves? What's going on here? What have I missed?
Well, would you do? You know,
not been doing any yoga.
It's the Tash. Dale's probably right, you know. It probably is the Tash. It's the Tash.
Tash is outrageous. Mine's bonkers, but his is outrageous. It's too much for me, that. Me and my brother had a joke about Firpo that if he shaved his tash, he would be 80% better at football. And I think the same with Roberts. I think he'd improve tenfold, which is not 80%, but I can't do the maths on it. But he'd improve, no doubt about it.
Firpo and Roberts, the Chuckle brothers on the bench, weren't we?
Right, lads, we've got Joe Road on. Are we all start?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Lockie? Did I say
Again, so what's it? But I think we'll bring in an elite centre back. Elite is in very good for the Premier League person. I think we will. So it's the competition, but yeah. He's been excellent, hasn't he? I can't deny it.
Lockie, you said that everybody's on bench or getting sold, and then you're not like Rodon, the only one that's been like.
The only thing we've seen with Rodon is he struggled a lot at Spurs. I know there were situations that made him do that, and he weren't great at Rennes last year either on loan. But he seems to have found a good environment here, which has helped a lot this season. But I genuinely think we'll bring in a top centre back. So it's.
And do you think Joe Rodon isn't that?
It's between him or Strout for me. I think we're going to bring someone that's even better.
I think you need one more at least, because you're going to lose Cresswell and you're going to lose Cooper next year. Like, Cresswell's not starting.
Pascal, Pascal bench. I'll put Rodon Strout at start. Yeah.
So according to this, folks, right, we've got Melier start, Joe Rodon start, Ethan Ampadu start. That's all we've got up to this point. How is everyone for time?
Probably doing about 10.
Is everyone? Are the other lads all right?
Sound.
You good? Yeah, because we'll rattle through it because we've got midfielders and strikers now. There's not as many defenders. Luke, are you good?
Yeah. I might have to just nip off quickly and then I'll jump straight.
Yeah. No worries. Joe, do you want to stay or do you want to drop out? Because I know.
It's just birthday, bro.
I know. I was going to say Jess is. She deserves a medal having to put up with Joe on a regular basis. But happy birthday to Jess, by the way. Happy birthday, Jess. But now we know he's earning more than 78k. I get it. You're doing well.
You got her a nice present, Joe.
Yeah.
Bring him to Rome for a couple of days.
Oh, Jesus. I just rented the Trevi fountain out for her to swim in for a couple of hours.
Rented it, mate. Bought it. It's going home. It's going to the backyard.
Oh, God. Right, okay. Midfielders. Glenn Kamara. Start, bench, or sell? Luke, I'm going to come to you.
Bench. One word, bench.
Bench. Joe?
I'm not making the mistake twice, Joe. Can I pass?
Yeah, you can pass. Yeah. You can pass this one, actually.
Bench.
Yeah. Lockie?
Bench based on the fact we have another player who I believe will start in that position.
100%, yeah. And bench as well. Great squad option, by the way. Jack?
Lockie's living in my head rent-free with this starting and keeping it. It actually is. So I can't help but think, I'm trying to fill the team up. I don't want to get to the end of this and every time you read them out and I go, what, 3 out of how many players have we been
Yeah,
through?
but then this leads on to another video of who
you
we
buy?
put in the positions that we haven't filled.
Well,
Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Spend.
So,
Yeah. I mean, I would go bench, but it's
It's a big bench.
Yeah. Right. We've gone
doing my best.
bench on Kamara. Yeah. Right. We'll come back to you, Jack. Somerville, start, bench, sell.
start.
Start. Yeah. I think we're all start, aren't we, on Creek? Yeah. Good stuff. Easy. Jaden Anthony, I'll not even bother. He's going back. He's going in there. Dan James, start, bench, sell. Luke.
Bench.
Bench. Joe.
Bench.
Lockie.
Bench.
And bench as well, Jack.
Again, Lockie, sorry. Bench on the basis that I think that's what should happen. But if depending on if Nonto don't stay or whatever, if something might happen, but ultimately, I think we're going to sign a forward player as well. So bench.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair. Archie Gray. Lockie, I'll come back to you because when you mentioned Kamara, I think you were alluding to the fact that someone might be starting there.
Yeah.
Is it this man?
Yeah, actually, starting in the box to box for me. I
Yeah.
don't see why not. I think he's been unbelievable. I think he's just going to get better and better.
Yeah. I can't wait to see him in the Prem as well, I cannot wait, man.
I think we will bring another midfielder in though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Competition and all that, but Archie
Wunderkid, innit? Luke, any great? We're all start, aren't we, lads?
Start, yeah.
Yeah, we're all start.
My
Cool.
only thing is just because.
Hang on a minute, Jack. You just complained we didn't have any starters, and now we've got
Yeah,
the
but
best
now
team
that
since,
you've
like-
lot have started him, I can if he's playing right back now, though, why would it? And I'm so on board. Don't get me wrong, but why would we go up a level and then he puts him in the role that everybody's saying he needs to be in? That's my only. I'm not saying he won't or he shouldn't, but
I think it's because we don't have a right back. I know we have Roberts now, but it's almost like Gray. You can't switch up the midfield, so Gray has to start. But I think when you have a full pre-season, I think you bring in a right back that starts and Gray then. I don't know if he'll start the season there. He might compete with Kamara, but
he might not play as much then.
yeah.
I think Archie's been left at right back for consistency of that back four. I don't think he wants to change it.
I'd have stuck with it as it is as well. Yeah, I
But
like
think
the
we get to somewhere, he'll be like, change it now. Now, if we're going to change it, we change it to someone.
full pre-season at it as well, so that he knows that's his role. And yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Ilya Gruyev. Jack, I'll come back to you, mate. We'll go back round. Start, bench, sell.
I'd bench Gruev.
Yeah. I agree with you, mate. I think he'll be a great option as well to come on for Ampadu, or if Ampadu's playing in the back three or plays at centre back, he plays there. Lockie?
Bench. Personally, if we sign in centre backs, Ampadu plays in the 6. Graves, obviously, not going to play higher up, I don't think. So, good bench option. Graves.
Great bench option for sure. Luke, are you bench as well, mate?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And is it the same for you, Joe?
I wanted him to start, but I said yes to Ampadu, and if I have to pick one of the two of them, it's Ampadu, so bench, but I would like him to start. I think he'll play more games now.
100%. Right, on to strikers. Joel Pirro. I'm going to start us off because I think this could be controversial. I sell him. I have maintained now for quite some time that we would need to even, and I said this before Bamford was even in the side. I put it out there as like a topic of like, if we get promoted because he's not suited to the system. Yes, he scored 11 goals, but there were times that he struggled for me, and I felt like Leeds maybe panicked a little bit on him because they didn't get Archer or whatever. That's how it felt like to me, and it was like, we need to get someone, get Pirro. And I know it's, look, we could be taking a loss. Hopefully we break even, but I think Joel Pirro is, for me, he's a sell anyway. He's a sell. And looking at the chat, I thought it'd be controversial, but I don't think it is. But I'm going to go sell. Joe, start, bench, sell.
Bench.
Bench for you. Luke?
Bench.
Lockie?
I think he offers something slightly different to what we do, and I think controversially and ironically, actually, I think he'd have more success in Premier League because of the style of play and the type of defenders, VAR, a few other bits and pieces. I just think he would be a little bit more successful in the Premier League.
Bang on.
Look more impactful, I suppose. And so, yeah, I would bench him.
Fair.
Yeah, he's a player that doesn't fit the system. That'll take longer to adapt. I'd give him pre-season. If it's not working out, loan. I think loan's a decent option to up his value in the Championship, get another season there, up his value, and if it doesn't work, you can sell him. Or if he does really well pre-season, he can be an option on the bench. So, yeah, I bench, I think. Actually, I'll go loan. Just
go loan.
Spice in there.
Sorry, did you asking me?
Go on. Yeah, we're waiting on you, bro.
I think he gets too much stick, Peru, and I know Peru, whatever. But I know he's. I get it, but he's got to be decent on bench, hasn't he? Surely, it's got to be something. He ain't that bad, you know. He's contributed this year.
Yeah.
It's just, and when he's coming off at bench, everybody's sort of like it's, and I feel it a bit. It's like, oh, you know, it's just it gets harder and harder and harder, doesn't it? And you just the magnifying glasses on him. A good pre-season and just take him out of it a bit. So. Bench.
Okay. No, that's fair. I think probably bench would be what will happen. Patrick Bamford. For me, it's bench, lads. I think we need a new number 9. But you've got a big grin, Jack. I know you're a massive fan. You're the number 1 fan. You and Liam Horsley, if he's watching this, are the what's the word? Directors of the fan club or whatever. But do you start him in the Prem, mate? Do you give him another bite of the cherry, or do you look to bring someone in and bench Bamford?
I will say what I've said. I've said in a video today, funnily enough. But I would start Bamford because I don't think we can replace him. So I've said from day dot with Bamford. I love Bamford. My favourite player since Lee Bowyer. But if you replace him, and that goes for any of them. But I love Bamford, but he's up to now been irreplaceable. Every time we've tried to replace him, we've struggled. Yeah, so it's so hard to get these number 9s. Better the devil you know sometimes. He does pop up with some goals, works his nuts off. We're going to be up against it a bit. Start all day long for me. Obviously, if you bring in somebody exceptional, obviously he goes to the bench, but he will start. We will struggle to sign a centre forward that's definitely better than Bamford. I just think we will.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair, mate. It's a conversation, definitely. Big shout out Leeds Hub, by the way, who made that Bamford redemption like way back. So big up to you because he definitely has been on one. So yeah, run it back, mate. Definitely. If he could get 17 goals, I would absolutely love it. Because
if he could get 10 though, and just play a real big part in, you know, he doesn't have to be one at leading goal scorers, which is what he was. But he doesn't have to go to that level. 10 goals, you'd take, wouldn't you, all day long.
I think
just
I think
it's worth it.
You what,
say, sorry?
I said just annoy Aston Villa the way he does it would be enough for me. My brother's a Villa fan; he hates him, but I love watching Bamford when he's Villa. Throws him nuts.
Everyone hates Bamford, and I don't get it.
I don't. None of my mates hate Bamford. I don't know anybody that hates Bamford.
Yes,
I think it's worth noting as well how difficult it is to find a number 9 that fits a particular system, and certainly at that level, you look at the money Chelsea spent on Jackson and Scum spent on Højlund, and they've spent, you know, these clubs have spent massive. Even the lad at Liverpool, Nunes, and you know they've not had the impact you'd expect. And we've had a player here that cost us 7 million 4 or 5 years ago. That's been up and down with us. That came into the Premier League and scored 17 goals. So I have to agree. But I just think that if we do want to go to the next level, we have to spin big, and this is one of the positions, probably the position we'd have to spend massively to try and find somebody that can do everything that Bamford does, just better.
Yeah, fair.
How many strikers have Chelsea ruined? How many strikers have Scum ruined? Or not ruined necessarily, but have just come over and struggled. Yeah, that Drogba struggled for a year, didn't he? It's really hard. It's really hard.
He's unreal, Drogba, to be fair. I know he's Chelsea, but I actually really like Drogba, man. What a striker.
That Højlund must be a decent striker. I know he's had a bit of a decent patch, but he struggled. It's rock hard. It's so hard.
Yeah, it is. Someone put a shout, though, in the chat, and I've lost it now, but said if Forest go down, what about Awoni? I don't mind.
He
that.
scored goals, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He scored goals in the Premier League. With a better side around him, with better service, you never know. But I don't think he's the level. Everyone's right what they're saying. You need a better number 9, but we've been trying to buy a better number 9 for 4 years. Like,
Gyökeres was the one, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
But Gyökeres is now, they're talking about the possibility of him coming back to the Premier League. That
70 million.
Lisbon might look to sell him, but they're looking at 48 million for him, which after one
more
season,
than that, bro. I think
70 odd million
that.
it is.
Yeah,
His release clause, I think.
Nuts. Yeah, I mean, we tried with Nanto, then we figured out that Nanto was a winger, so that was the end of that. Then we bought Pirro, but then we decided he was number 10. So like we've not actually gone out and bought a number 9 and gone, that's a number 9, buy him. John David's a great show. That's a really good show. He's a good player as well, but there will be other clubs looking at him as well. But he's a very good show. I think Leeds need to get go out and buy a number 9. And I think if the 49ers are looking at splashing cash on any positions, I think it's centre back and striker. They're the two ones. If you're going to go and go big, they're the two positions to go big in, because they're the ones that will benefit you both ends of the park. But they need to go and get number 9, because even if Paddy has a decent season next year, he's not getting any younger either. You know, you need. But I do think natural successor is sitting on the bench right now, because I do think his natural successor will be Joseph. It's a good shout as well.
Yeah, and Bolo's unreal.
This thing I'm not disagreeing with you, Jay, but like we're going big for a player though. It's just an inflated big, isn't it? Yeah. We can't bring in the play. We got Spanish Rodrigo, didn't we? Centre forward. That and he didn't. He was decent. You know, it was all in the end. He was all right for us. Yeah. But that was a big signing. And was he better than Bamford? I don't know if Rodrigo is better than Bamford.
If you look at the one season he played up front, because let's be honest, the first 2 seasons he played as a 10, and the conversation was constantly he's not a 10. He kept saying he's not a 10. They kept saying he's not a 10. And then the one year he got as a number 10 and number 9, he was scoring goals for fun for us. Like that was the year he went down, but he was banging goals in for us that year.
Well, how many goals were it though?
It was double figures anyway, wasn't it?
Rodrigo.
Rodrigo last season.
16, under Jesse he did. Yeah.
And that's the season where we were in the bottom 4, where you look at Paddy's 17, we were 9th, you know, so it's slightly different. But I don't look for the system, Bamford has to start, but I think Leeds need to be looking at another player, unless they just see Mateo Joseph as a long-term successor, because I think Mateo Joseph can do what Paddy can do. The intelligence piece will come with age, but I think he's got an awful lot to add.
Yeah.
I would minimum bench Paddy. Minimum.
Yeah. 100%. Leeds Hub makes a good point. Nketiah, Rodrigo, Gelhardt, Pirro, they have all fell short to Lord Bamford, but we do need to move on. So, look, 51% have gone bench, 23% sell, and 25% start. I think the majority go with bench with Pat. Again,
there's 0 point selling him. That's one thing I've got to say.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Rutter people. I mean, he's starting every day of the week, isn't he? I think we're all on start with that one. Right, Willie Nonto's up next. Obviously, James, we had to bench. Is that because we're saying Willie starts? Lockie? No, you're shaking your head? Talk to me.
Not for me. Bench. Again, based on the fact, like Jay said, I think we're going to bring in a really good attacking player, whether that's a winger or a striker, maybe both. I don't think 49's going to take any risks. Somerville, based on his entire form this season, was warranted a start and will start on Daniel Farker. Nonto's played well since the start of the year, really well. But look, we've signed some top wingers in this league, Rafinha levels. I think we need to do that again. Willie Nonto is still young. He will get a lot of game time, I think. He'll have a role in the team if he stays. But I think Cree on one side, and I think we're going to sign a winger who's done really well in Europe, who's going to take us to that next level.
So you
which
bench?
Does anyone? Nonto and Dan James on the bench, which is very good.
Wow. Does anyone? I disagree. I think he'll start. Go on, Luke.
Yeah, I totally disagree. I agree. It was our best outlet last season. It was our only outlet pretty much throughout the season. We looked, and he didn't look out of place in the Premier League. Yeah, he's probably not found that form as yet. We've seen glimpses of it this season, but I think we saw the best of Willie Nonto when he was up against better players in the Premier League, and he was very good. I mean, he was our only arguably good player. I would say over the course of last season. So. Yeah, for me, I think it'd be counterproductive to drop him.
My only thing with that though is, and so say he does start, I'd be fine with it. I'm not like, He shouldn't start. Like, where's the real competition if it's not working? So obviously you've got Dan James. That's kind of it at this point. I
think... I mean, obviously we're talking hypothetically, so I would imagine we will still send. We've got Jaden Anthony at the moment on loan, who's the opposite. But I think Dan James is enough competition we've seen from this season, surely.
I just think we need someone that's, I think someone that, with all respect to these guys who are doing unbelievably well, I think we need someone that is doing really well in the top 5 leagues in Europe.
I just think this is the struggle. This is what I mean. Everybody needs replacing in every team in the world. So
it's not replacement, Jack. It's competition.
I get, dude.
I'm not getting gone. I'm not one of them.
I know you're not, dude. I know you're not, dude. No, I'm not. I'm not even. I want meaning to disagree. It sounds like I'm disagreeing with me. I'm not. But I think Nonto will start myself. But and because I actually think he is the Premier League player that we know he is. So it's, and he needs to do more. He needs to deliver more than he did while we were in the Prem. But we're signing a proven Prem player when he's one of the only ones that kind of is on the verge of being that. So
another thing I'm worried about as well. He was really good. He was probably the bright spark that season. Let's be honest, when we're all sad.
Non-to FC. We were non-to FC.
But that a lot of that was from the left. I think he's a lot better from the left, and his best mate Creed's playing there really well. I don't know, tough one, I guess, but I just envision.
He started over Somerville as well, isn't it? That's the madness.
He did,
because if you'd have said this last year, we'd have all probably been the other way around, wouldn't we? And said Somerville had been the one that you'd potentially replace, and Nonto would be the man that would start. So
that's the thing with him, Rutter, and Somerville. They're all so young that they could have an unbelievable pre-season and come back.
Yeah.
Unbelievable players. It is tough to say. I just personally think we're going to get a really good winger. Whether the winger will be as good as them two in the Prem is to be seen. But I just we need some deep.
Can I just sorry, Joe, before you come in, this is absolute bullshit. Like, why are we doing? Like, there seems to be this genuine rewriting of it. Listen, I love Jack Clark, and it was amazing, and great moments when he did play. But to say he's anywhere close to Nonto for me is absolute BS. Anyway, over
to also that Jack Clark wouldn't necessarily refuse to wear a white shirt. Jack Clark came back to Leeds on loan and didn't want to stay. So, it's not necessarily true. He might have refused to wear it, but again, I said this before, when Jack Clark was on loan and got his loan cancelled and went back, he put a post on Instagram taking the piss out of the club, so Jack had fun. He was a young kid then, but he's done similar stupid things as a kid as well.
He's not better than Nonto, is he?
I don't think he is now. Right? He's a very good player, but I don't think Nonto finishes his career.
Italian international Nonto, by the way. Do you reckon Jack Clark's getting in England?
I reckon Willie Nonto moves inside over the next 2 years as well. I think Willie will come off the wing. I think you'll see him go back towards being a striker. Or I keep saying this, I can't figure out how no one's saying it. I think he's a born number 10. I think everything about Willie Nonto's style of play is a number 10. He's low center of gravity, ability to run at people, strong to hold off tackles, good eye for a pass, can shoot from distance, has an eye for a goal. I think everything there, good pass for the ball, everything there for me says Willie Nonto ends up being number 10, but he's playing it straight out wide. He's played up front for the Italian internationals under 21s, where he scored 4 goals in 2 games from playing as a number 9. So he's done that. First game of the season for Leeds at home this season, he started up front and was really good as the number 9, probably one of the best games he played. Sorry, not the start of the season, his first game that he played. Maybe it was the start of the season. Yeah, when the strike afterwards. Yeah, it was first. I think Nonto will go inside, but I kind of agree with Lockie. I do, and I'm hearing both. Like, Luke's making a really good argument, and I'm kind of like, oh yeah, maybe he's right. There's 2 solid arguments for both sides, but there is a realization that the Championship and even the top of the Championship is not comparable to the Premier League. And again, look at the teams that have gone up over the last whatever amount of years, teams that run away with the Championship and finish 3rd, 4th, and bottom of the Premier League the following year. It happens continuously. That jump from the bottom 4 to the middle of the table is a big jump, and it takes consistency. It means you've got to have a very good squad, a good manager, a calm club, which thankfully we think we seem to have that part. I agree with Lockie. I think the club will buy in the summer. I think they will buy big in the summer because they'll have to. It'll be their crack at it. They'll maybe, with the 3-year period thing, if that's still in place, they'll get a year to do it and then balance it out over the next 2 years. But they'll have to put a marker down the first year to go, we're not going to compete in the bottom 4. We're going to be competing in around 9th, 10th, 11th, that block of the league. I think Nanto will have a very important part to play, but I think Leeds will go and sign somebody from an attacking perspective. Leeds can be very wasteful in front of goal. We've scored a lot of goals this year, and we have. And that's some of that is about the opposition. But if you go back to last season and look at our big chances missed in front of goal, you go back to the start of this season and the amount of big chances that Rutter created that weren't being converted. Leeds can miss a lot of chances. Farke has said it. At times we can be wasteful in front of goal. Bielsa used to say it. We need 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 chances before we put one away. We can be wasteful. They will need to bring in more clinical players in and around that area as well. Maybe not to replace the guys that are there, but to put a little bit of pressure on them as well. Cree will need pressure. Cree will need good competition behind him, not somebody that he's miles better than. He will need someone that pushes him and challenges him. Maybe it's Gio. You look at Rutter's situation this year, fantastic in terms of assists, one of the best in the league. Look at him in front of goal, one of the worst conversion rates in the Championship. That's not going to fly in the Premier League. The assists are great, but he's going to have to start chipping in more goals. The midfield for Leeds doesn't score enough goals. We don't get enough goals in the middle of the park. That's going to be a problem next year. We have a back four that haven't had to defend much this year. They're going to defend a lot more next year. So there is going to be significant signings needed to this team, and the sentimentality around this bunch, which we all have, and I have. I love this current bunch, and it's taken me a while to get here. It was the same with the team that got promoted. I loved that team and never wanted to see it broke up that got promoted the last time. But there is a reality when you get to the Premier League of, do you want to stay here? Do you want to progress here? Or do you want to hang around the bottom half of the table and be dragged into this every couple of years? Because if you want to have a really good crack at this, you've got to upgrade your players. And then next year, you've got to upgrade them. And then the following year, you've got to upgrade them. The 1 year we didn't do it, it fell apart. You know, You've got to be, if you're not moving, it's the old saying, if you're not moving forward, you're standing still. And that's going to be the way you have to look at it. We've got some really talented young players, but if you can put some really high-level experienced players in around them, then you've got a really, really talented squad.
Yeah. I don't ever play no games.
I'm more interested in Clem Fandango. That's it. He wrote about Clem Fandango.
Yeah, listen, 14 Yorks as well. Just, you don't get to come. I don't believe this ever happened, by the way. I never said 1.3 million. I said it was shit. But don't come. Like, that's not how it works. Just because you've had a shit take, don't try come back at me with a shit take I've had. Do you know what I mean? That's not how it works. Just take your medicine, broski. But I never said selling for 1.3 million. Never. I did say it was shit. Yeah, I did say it was shit, but I didn't say selling, bro. And I was wrong. It is what it is. Right.
Well, you might have been right, Joe. He was shit, and now he's not. It's like, that's how it works, isn't it?
Exactly, bro. Exactly. Right. So quickly go around again because I forgot. So Jack, start or bench Nanto?
Start.
I'm start. Lockie bench.
Yeah.
Joe
Bench.
Luke.
Deciding vote. Ooh, start.
Right, okay, we've got Nanto in there. Nanto's a start. And to be fair, the chat, 66% said start as well. So there we go. We've got 2 more players left. The squad's actually built out a little bit now, which is good to see. But Gelhart, quick fire. Start, bench, sell, or loan.
Sell.
Joe says sell. I say loan. Jack?
Loan.
Lockie?
Sell. I want to see him play rest for career. Yeah.
Okay.
Too old for that.
Yeah.
And Luke?
Lorne, I don't want to see the same mistake made like Joe mentioned with Leif Davis, with Kitchen. I think there's a player in there somewhere. He just needs some game time.
How old is he, Joffrey?
20, 21, 22?
Is he that young?
Oh, is he still that young?
I think so.
But if he's that young,
He was very young when he came on the scene, wasn't he? Yeah.
It's true, yeah.
Right,
But,
last one.
This is important. Hang on, Joe. How old is he? This is really important. That changes. He's 21 loan. Forget it. Change my mind. Loan.
Then. I agree. I thought it was 23, 24.
I thought it was 23. Yeah, same as
Yeah,
Still young.
I think he needs to.
I'm going to pretend I knew he was 21. That's why I said loan.
Right, okay. So Matteo Joseph is our last one of the evening, folks. Start, bench, sell, loan. It's not going to be sell, so we'll do start, bench, loan. Luke, I'm going to come to you first.
Well, we've already decided that we've got Pirro on the bench and we've got Paddy either starting or on the bench. So it's loan for me, and I think it'll do him the world of good. I think he's good enough probably to be pushing and not on the bench, but I think we might be wasting his potential. and him not getting quite enough game time. And he's at that age now, and he's obviously doing bits for Spain under 21s or whatever it is, and he's shown he can do it for us. But I just don't think he's going to get enough opportunity in the Premier League, so it'll be a loan for me to see how he can kick on.
Joe?
Yeah, his logic is really good. I'm gonna say bench because I think he's knocking on the door, and he's already embarrassed Chelsea. So like but I would agree with what everything Luke said. I think it's a good loan if you're loaning him out because it's loaning to play and to build to get better. But I think I would say bench because I think he's knocking on the door.
No one's selling him, Stevie. That's why.
No,
I think if you want to sell Joseph, I think it's mad. Yeah, he has to stay. So we've got a bench and a loan. Lockie?
Loan's a risk because will it work? You never really know. It's tough. I think if you got the right loan club, like a good club, I think it could really work, and his value could be ridiculous, or he could come back to us, the player we need. But I want him to stay around. I like him. I think he can provide a bit of something off the bench and really develop with the team in the Prem. Personally, either or's fine, but I'll say bench.
Yeah, I'm bench as well. I'm a solid bench. Maybe that's why. Yeah, because like you said, Luke makes a great point about numbers. Though, then it's like, well, you've got Pirro, Bamford, and Joseph on the bench, so that's something for the powers that be. Go on. Sorry.
If you look at the bench we've got now, most of them will be gone next year. The players that we're taking from the starting 11 now that are going to the bench, all of a sudden that's a stronger bench now. So now you're filling the holes in the pitch with better players than them again. And you've got that crossover then, bring them in and out when you need them. But that's what you need to do. Like Daniel Farke can't have a bench with 3 players on it that he trusts. He has to have a bench on it with 7 players that he trusts, or 9 players, whatever it is, the Premier League next year. He needs to look around and have a problem in his head of going, which one do I bring on? They're all really good. Right now, he can probably pick 3 players and go, same 3 players every week. The rest of them, not so much. I mean, you don't see Joffy getting on. You don't see Shaq's playing an awful lot. You don't see Cressy getting on the pitch. Doesn't trust them. So there's no point in having them sitting there doing nothing. It's players that he plays on a regular basis on the bench that will actually add value to the team when they come off the bench. That's massively important. That's how they make the bench better. They buy better first team players, remove the waste from the bench, and move the other players to the bench. Then all of a sudden the whole squad gets stronger.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair as well. Jack?
I'm bench with Joseph. Yeah, I won't loan him out just on the basis that I think he will actually play a relatively decent part. And you get so many subs as well, like which obviously back in the day when it was 3 subs, it'd be more likely to think, well, you're never really going to get him on.
5 now, isn't it? You get
5, yeah. So
more on the bench in the Premier League first games and players, isn't it?
Yeah, bigger benches. Yeah.
Yeah. So
good job, really, with our pickings.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run through it as well, by the way, like after. So, yeah. So you bench.
I'm not a big signing man. So as it just me in general, but I'd bolster. I won't go for these 40 million players necessarily. I don't know if they. I just think it's an inflated price for a player that isn't really doing it at that club, but sounds decent. I think if we bolster, it's obviously very, very hard to do, but yeah, I don't so much mind, for instance, if we sign a Nonto type replacement, but he ends up being like Anthony's done. So Anthony's come in, and Anthony's all right, isn't he? He's do we all agree, sort of decent, and nobody minds when he comes off at bench. And we need that in the Prem where you just think, well, it's not like a long sigh where you go, nothing's going to happen now.
Yeah.
But I don't think we need to replace that many players necessarily in order to be 14th, 15th in the league. I think if we bolster, do one big signing. Obviously, I want all the big signings. But do you know what I'm saying? I think we need to really get proper, solid. Like that Longstaff's been spoke about, hasn't it? And I got loads of shit for saying I wanted him in. But he should credit me, Jay, so I shouldn't start with him. But Longstaff is just proper
an
decent.
Option. Yeah.
Just proper decent.
Yeah, he is decent.
But I'm bang up for that.
Yeah.
First year, I just think Longstaff, Newcastle were on a crazy train and they were well on it. He were well within it.
Yeah. You're right, mate. Like, I hear
relatively
you. And
cheap,
people will...
20 million or something, 15 million. He is a Premier League footballer.
If you like, people want the glamour. I tend to agree with you, right? I'm not like saying, get Longstaff and I'm going to be going, wow. But if you look at Newcastle, when they got Champions League, you had players like Joe Willock, you know, Longstaff, Miggy Almiron. These are all, you know, Lascelles. You know, obviously since then they brought Guimaraes and Joe Linton. No,
Joe Linton,
he
the
was done.
beast.
He
He's
was
been a
done,
beast.
and now he's like, boom. Do you know what I mean? So you are right. There is something in
And
that.
what I'm getting at as well, Joe. So, like, if Longstaff ends up being on the bench because Ampadu and Gray, for instance, are so mint in the middle, how mint is that? You just think, well, Longstaff was signed and he's on the bench. That's all I'm saying about these necessarily. They don't have to be replacements. And like what Lockie was saying with competition, Longstaff definitely comes in and does a job, doesn't he? So it's players like that I'd try and nick.
Yeah,
it's value for money. If you're going to spend big, then the player that's coming in has to deliver big. And if you're going to spend on decent, but to Jack's point, Longstaff is a decent player, but you won't pay decent money for Longstaff. You'll pay 25-30 million for him, which is overinflated for a player that he is. He's a decent player. He would be a good squad player to have in the team. He can start games and be fine, but he won't start every single game. Same with what we've probably got right now. Like the Premier League will put different challenges on you, and the team will lose more, so probably rotate more naturally because of that. But it's about getting the right players for the right amount of money and not blowing budget because I mean, I did the thing on the 49ers position in the Forbes thing, which is the 12th in the Forbes Money League with 5.9 billion wealth, which is great, but that's not revenue. They can't spend that. They can only spend what they're allowed to spend between revenue coming in and losses going out. So it doesn't really matter how much money they have if they're not bringing in money into the club. So you can't just go and spend that money. So they can't be mad. They've got to be smart about this. They've got to give. And I think the team that's there, Steinson, Nick Hammond, have done a cracking job so far. I think the players they will bring in will be good players that, if nothing else, give us a calm season next year. It mightn't be spectacular, but it'll be a calm season.
You just need to look at the recruitment this summer, Joe.
I love them. Very few players that haven't made a massive impact this year.
100%. 53% say bench, so that's so I'm going to share with you now, folks, the lineup going into the first game of the season against Manchester United at Old Trafford. This is what we've got to go with. So we would need, you know, and again, this is. Oh, I didn't put none to it, have I? Sorry, I haven't put none to it.
Did Bamford not make it in either? I'm devastated. I thought maybe I got him in.
No. We've got him in. So we need a new number 9, which I think we'd all say anyway. We definitely need fullbacks.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I'd start Stroud, but obviously we've debated over it, and this is what the general consensus is. But are you happy with that, lads, with 4 key additions in them areas?
I think that looks really good with 4 key.
Yeah, I think that's bang on, That's pretty much, I mean, I thought we needed 2 fullbacks, centre-back, and number 9, and if you had a few quid over, a second number 10 as a rotational option, because give it time. Yeah. But outside of, take the 10 out of it, which is a luxury sign, and the other 4 were exactly what I thought we needed, so that kind of works out really well.
Yeah. I agree.
I'd maybe bring Gray and Ampadu a bit more narrow and put Rutter in the actual 10 position, but other than that...
No, they're very narrow wingers, them, Joe. Yeah.
I know, man. Well, yeah, sorry.
He's not Jesse Marsh, is it?
On the bench as well, folks. On the bench, we've got Cal Darlow, Junior Firpo, Pascal Struijk, Sam Byram, Connor Roberts, Glenn Kamara, Dan James, Ilya Gruyev, Joel Pirot, Patrick Bamford, and Matteo Joseph.
So 11 on bench. Where we're allowed 9.
Yeah, but the squad rotation, right? Squad rotate like sometimes Cresswell don't make the team, and But that's
if we
the
had
thing,
this
though,
team
isn't
next year, there'd be 4 of them that'd have to come on. You know, we do need to start with 11.
Yeah, that's true. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So
cool.
Yeah. Andy says, how's Meslier made it? Well, listen, what I will say, right, and I've said this, and I'll continue to say this, right? If you're, right, listen hear me. If you're mad about Meslier, be mad, because I would put down I don't own a house. I'd put down my rent, whatever that means. But Meslier, listen, Leeds fans, Meslier will be your starting goalkeeper in the Prem next season. I'm not, that's not even up for debate. That isn't based on me and what my preference would be, although that is my preference. The club and Fake, as my man Jack says, will start Meslier, silent S, in goal, man. Honestly, he will. Does anyone disagree on this panel, by the way?
No, that if you watch back an hour and 53 minutes ago, we just had a debate on it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So if he gets bored and wants to rewind it, then he'll probably answer his own question.
And everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'm genuinely dead certain that he'll start. That he will start in the.
I think the club manager rate Meslier more than a lot of fans do.
Yeah.
Hey, what do they know? They've only been studying the game for their entire careers, you know.
Yeah. Here's just a quick one for DFG before he kicks off again. What do we do about JB, folks?
Back on loan again because he's doing great. Give him another year. He's got time. Yeah, he's doing great. He's doing exactly what you would hope a loan player does. He's been brilliant for Plymouth.
Yeah. And Ryan, no one agree. Listen, this is what football's about. I just think that's what the club will go. Sorry, Andy, mate. Sorry. I'm just trying to help you see the light. Like, because my point is, if you're mad now, you're going to be mad in August when the Premier League season starts.
Prepare.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you ready for when you ultimately go, why is he starting? Because
Well, we did say if Aaron Ramsdale became available and the club could afford it, we'd have him in goal. That was the, if Leeds can sign a better goalkeeper, then they'll great. But I don't think you will, and I think it'll cost you if you do.
Yeah. 100%. And Darren, he does. We heard from Lockie that he's better than Jan Oblak, to be honest, mate, in that area. So no, but basically he does. What you mean by we don't need to do this mesh chat because I'll be here all day. But yeah, he does.
Just to put that out there, I'll take it.
Yeah, you take Oblak. Good stuff. Listen, folks, we've nearly done 2 hours. I know you will watch this in different sections and parts and all that, and I'm really, really grateful. Please show your support and like the video. I'm really grateful to the lads for giving up 2 hours on a Monday night as well. So legends, each and every one of them. So make sure you go and check the channels out as well. So obviously, Jack City and Leeds fans, go check it out. Go check out Ben Lockie Leeds. Go check out JUSTJOE, Leeds United, The View, and of course, Luke. Luke, are you still having your title chat this week?
Yes, we're open to that Thursday. I'm just looking.
Did you forget them for a minute? You were like, what you're about? Loading.
Until I hear my name, I'm asleep with my eyes open. Thursday, hopefully. Fingers crossed, 8 o'clock. We're getting the run-in, so we're going to get a Saints fan, Leicester fan, and an Ipswich fan on with a couple of us from OKB to have a bit of an online scrap, really.
Yeah, love that. So make sure you check that out, folks. Happy birthday to Jess as well, Jess Mrs.
Happy birthday, Jess.
Happy birthday, Jess. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Tomorrow, Wales play and England, so I'm doing both the games because they kick off at the same time, so follow us for that as well. And, I'm on with Locks tomorrow lunchtime as well, and I promise that's going to be a good one because I'm going to wind him up. So, and just to finish, I missed this earlier on. Andrew says, just love this content you do, Joe. Keep up the great work. Same for everyone, folks. Make sure you go check out everyone's content. And, look, it's game week, innit? We're back on Friday. What a day Good Friday proves to be. At the end of the day, right, perfect day, Leicester lose, Ipswich lose, Saints lose, and then Leeds win. It'll be amazing. But the reality is, it could go, Leicester go top, then Ipswich go in second, and then we get to 8 o'clock and we win, and then we go back top. So it could change all day. It's going to be a great day anyway. I'm rambling now, so I'll shut up. And, see you in a bit, folks.